the 100th day of war between Russia and Ukraine, and on the 99th day came the confession from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky when he said Russia controls 1/5 of his country, which is 20% of Ukraine is in Russian control on day 100 of this conflict. And this is extremely distressing as far as Ukraine is concerned. This war, as of now, actually is it's a stalemate. There are no victors in this war. Russia, if it thought that it will capture Kyiv in between 3 to 5 days, that clearly did not happen. Russia mounted a multi-pronged offensive. A huge column came from the Belarus side, came on the outskirts of Brovary and Bucha and Irpin and Hostomel, and you know, the India Today team, my team and I, we got there on the 17th of February, and this is a week before the conflict started on the 24th of February. So when we got into Kyiv, there were celebrations, there were parties. Of course, there was some tension in the air, but people were still partying in Krishiatek, which is like India's or New Delhi's Connaught Place, the heart, the business center, the heart of the city. People were partying till 4 in the morning. We attended those parties. We reported those parties for India Today and Aaj Tak. And then the mood started changing because people came to the city center, met their loved ones, went to church, went to a memorial, and then they were going to defend their country. They were going to far-flung borders in the Donbass region. They were also going to Borodyanka and Irpin and Bucha. That's where they set defenses for the capital Kyiv. And they were going to either Odessa or other parts towards the south, because the Russians had mounted a multi-pronged offensive. Initially, it was thought this battle will be over in 3 days or 4 days or 5 days, but then it kept stretching. And one reason for this was also the sheer grit and determination of the people of Ukraine. I interacted with them very extensively. We stayed in Ukraine for 2 months between February and April. Amazing people, very sturdy, very nice. I mean, great interacting with them. Many times we ducked death together, whether it was in bunkers or traveling from one city to the other. We went to Mariupol, we went to Kharkiv. In fact, when we were coming back from Mariupol, and we were literally trying to get out of Mariupol, because at one point of time, we were on board a train, and for 13 hours the train was on the tracks because the Russians were using heavy artillery to target Mariupol and areas around, so the train just couldn't move. And next morning, we were told that Russian tanks were coming in and armored personal carriers, and there was firing. You didn't know whether these were Ukrainian soldiers, whether they were mercenaries, whether they were Russians, and there were trees on the road, there were roadblocks on the road. So, you know, we traveled out of Mariupol and we were being shot at while we were live on TV while driving out. But fortunately, we managed to get out of there. We came to a place called Dnipro, and from Dnipro we took a train to Kyiv. We went to Kharkiv. Kharkiv was being shelled, and subsequently these places, there was intense artillery battles, there were intense rocket attacks, air raid sirens throughout. Right now, that time, you know, Russia was in control of about 30% of the Donbass region. As on date, I mean, when we speak today, Russia is virtually in control of 95% of Donbass. There are fights and intense artillery and rocket attacks that are happening at Severodonetsk, one part of Luhansk. That is where the fighting is restricted. Ukraine wants more sanctions on Russia. Ukraine wants harsher sanctions on Russia. But has Russia been able to use the ruble RMB trade with China to be able to dodge some of these sanctions? Have they been able to insist that they be paid in rubles for the oil and the gas that Europe requires? That, in a way, gives Russia their, as the Ukrainians put it, get out of jail pass free, because of the energy requirements of Europe. That is, in a way, their Brahmastra. Russia's being, you know, targeted with these sanctions. Are these sanctions really working effectively? Ukraine wants more. America and NATO countries, they are arming Ukraine, but Ukraine wants longer range missiles. They want UCAVs, longer range unmanned combat aerial vehicles that can that can loiter in the air for close to 30 hours and fire multiple Hellfire missiles. So they may get some of these American drones while they have the Turkish Bayraktar drones. But they want to be able to take this battle into the Russian camp. That would lead to intensification of operations, because Russia has warned NATO and the US, saying if this happens, then that would be fair game. All the military hardware that's coming into Ukraine would be fair game to be targeted. It's a stalemate as of now. There are no winners in this war as of now. It remains to be seen, as India has constantly asked all sides to come together, negotiate, talk and discuss and then try and find a solution. There is clearly no solution that will come militarily, especially with Russia very clearly now in control of Donbass. Will there be new borders? Because remember, the UK has accused Russia of trying to weaponize hunger. All the wheat from Ukraine, remember Ukraine is known as the breadbasket of Europe, all the wheat from Ukraine cannot get to Europe and Africa, and that's leading to a surge in prices. Economy is in tailspin, and it will only become worse in the days and weeks ahead. But will there be a negotiated settlement? We'll keep a close eye on this big development.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today NewsMo.